What's going on, everybody? This is JVP, and you're listening to a new episode of the Postgame Report. So, Twitter never ceases to stop entertaining me, and today there was some new form of entertainment. There was quick story. Here goes another story. A quick story. So, one day I was browsing Twitter, and I saw this female, blonde hair, blue eyes, and she popped up on my timeline and she was talking about video games. So I checked out the profile because a lot of times you see these profiles or you see female gamers, or better yet, you see females pretending to like video games because they know that the video game uh I don't want to say community, but the video game industry is a very, very big industry, and there's a lot of money to be made. And when you see like how these female Twitch streamers who claim to be playing video games, but then when you look at their streams, they're in bathtubs, they're selling bath water and stuff like that. So there's a lot of money to be made. Um, and I'm trying not to sound misogynistic or anything like that. But so I was like, all right, let's see if this girl is legit. Let me look at her profile. So I saw a bunch of photos and I saw that she was like interacting with people that are on my Twitter feed, and I was like, okay, cool. But lo and behold, somebody found out that the account was created by a guy, and the girl in the profile photo and the one that was shown on the feed, because there was a bunch of photos with this girl. It was his sister, so he used his sister, and his excuse was that he wanted to come up with a social experiment. So the story goes that this guy tried to, I guess, make a statement, or he wanted to become popular within the Twitter space, the Twitter universe, or YouTube or whatever, right? Within gaming, right? A lot of people like to throw out the gaming community. It start that and the word gamer is really pissing me the fuck off. But anyway, so supposedly this guy he told people, and I'm just going based off what I heard from other people. He you know wasn't getting the reactions for his past, I guess, takes, his video game takes, or his content, whatever it was, and he wasn't getting the amount of followership that he thought he deserved. So what he did was he created a profile using his sister as he used his sister, basically. I'm trying to find a different way of saying it, but basically he used the old adage, or the old technique of sex sells. Basically, that's what he did. So people found like his, I guess, Instagram account, and they saw him with this girl, aka his sister. And there's even a photo of his sister holding his daughter, and there's a caption saying, you know, with auntie, or she loves her auntie, something like that. And so people were like, oh, so this is not your sister, so who the hell is this girl? So then finally he admitted it, and then came up with the whole thing of, hey, I wasn't getting the attention I thought I deserved, and I'm just adding to what I heard or whatever. And so this is not word for word, but this is how I interpret it. And so he cheated, right? He wanted to get quick interaction. Supposedly the account, the Twitter account with the girl, got like 3,000 Twitter followers immediately. dudes were DMing him, her. So people fell for it, you know? And by the way, there's another female that suddenly popped out of nowhere and has been really heavy, really heavy into this, the console war that goes on Twitter. And I had told somebody this before a few months ago when I saw a tweet from that account. I said that sounds like a fucking dude talking shit. It doesn't come off with the elegance that a female would come off at. This sounds like a dude who already has been involved in this little Twitter video game war, and suddenly is using a female account as a way to infiltrate or whatever, or to gain more notoriety. So that account also has a female stating, "Hey, this is me. Here's my name. I'm writing it down. Here's my PS5." And I'm like, anyone could do that. Somebody's recording that. Somebody's recording her doing that. Somebody's taking pictures of her holding her controller. Who is the individual holding the camera and taking the photos? There's also pictures of her, like, going out and eating. She's obviously eating with someone because there's several plates. So I came up with the theory, like, something's off. Something's off with this account. I think it's some dude using a female, and it could be his girl, it could be his wife, and they're just freaking laughing their asses off at the people who are like, "Oh my god, look at this female. She's like, one of us." And there's a lot of gullible guys like that, and that's where the Twitch, the OnlyFans and Twitch, all that shit. When you have females who take advantage of the the male demographic in gaming, because to this day, people still find it hard to believe that a woman is capable of playing video games just as good or better than them. So they still flock to females if they see them online, if they see them on Twitter talking about video games or on YouTube. I know so many freaking knowledgeable and great. They're great. Their skills are great in their games. First person shooters, whether it's fighting games, freaking awesome. Even growing up, I used to go against some of my female friends in fighting games and get my ass whooped. And I remember I dated one girl who said, "Yeah, I finished, I finished Mario World like 4 times, and I'm trying to get, a faster time." And back then, even though I've always played video games since I was 9 years old, and I'm 49, 7, excuse me, and I'm 49 now, her and I didn't meet uh, in a gaming convention or some shit like that. None of that existed back in when when I'm, in my late teens, early 20s. So when I heard that, I was like, oh shit, another plus, So everybody's joking on, well, everybody that I follow seems to be joking on Twitter that, this catfish uh, conspiracy, and people are basically giving this guy like the pass, or they're giving him a pass, right? They're like, oh, he exposed something and blah, blah, blah. For me personally, it doesn't affect me one bit, right? So I don't know who this individual is. Maybe we follow each other on Twitter. I'm not sure. And the fact that they've shown that he has a wife and kid, and his kid is a daughter, And the fact that he went on a Twitter space to tell people, hey, I wasn't getting the attention or the followship that I thought I should, so I created this fake account to prove a point. What that tells me is that, number one, as a father, I'm a father as well, but my son is 20 years old. And raising a female is a lot different than raising a boy. So, to me, as an individual who took, the moment my wife became pregnant, my world changed. My attitude changed. I changed because I knew that my actions as a father would reflect on my son in some form of way. He would either see me acting a certain way in a certain situation, and unbeknownst to me, he may act the same way, positively or negatively. So I had to really think carefully. Everything I did, I thought of I thought of my son first. How would my son react to this? How is this going to teach my son a lesson in a positive or negative way? So what this guy did, in my opinion, as a father, he and the fact that he has a daughter, he used his sister, he used her sexuality to gain followers, to gain attention that he couldn't do on his own. He admitted this. So instantly, in my opinion, he proves that he made a bad decision because his daughter, hopefully she never finds this out, but it's the internet, right? You never know. She could be tech savvy at an early age and know all this shit. He's teaching her, take shortcuts, use your sexuality to take shortcuts because that's the only way you're going to succeed. That is a bad example. Hopefully his daughter never finds out about this, never finds out the intricacies of this situation. And for her sake, their relationship, he takes raising her as serious as I feel he should, right? I'm not saying he's not. I'm not saying he's a bad father. I'm saying what he did proved that taking a shortcut by using sexuality, a female sexuality, is way easier than doing the hard work to gain that same amount of followers. So that's where I have the issue. I don't have a problem with him. I don't know the person. It doesn't affect me in any way. But a lot of people were talking in the Twitter space saying, oh, we got to fix the community and we got to support each other. And whether we're male or female, we should support each other the same way. But the fact is, you give this guy a pass and you're making it okay for him to lie to everybody. Because that's what he did. He lied to everyone who interacted with him and that account. So there's no ramification. So that means anybody could do it. And they might not get caught. They might be a little smarter. And now you have people interacting with fake female accounts again, simping over them. And what does that do? Like why would this guy create such an account in the first place and then get into like Twitter beef with Xbox people? Because that's basically what happened. This was a PlayStation fangirl playing Elden Ring, I think, and dudes were flocking to her. So what was the benefit of that besides gaining followers? What were you going to do with that? Like, it was weird, right? Like, did he think about that? Like, did he think, hey, if I never get caught and this account gets up to like 20,000 followers, what am I going to do with this? People are still not going to like me for me. They like this, they like my sister. And the fact that I'm writing the stuff that she's supposedly saying, but they like her for her looks. They don't like me for me. So the other thing that I found troublesome was that, he said, hey, I tried to, have a voice and people weren't paying attention. I've been in this since 2005 and I post a lot of shit. I post a lot of photography. I post a lot of podcasts. I do videos on YouTube. I do a lot of stuff. And it doesn't get attention. I'll get 17 downloads on one episode. It's funny. The other day, somebody posted that their account was on their YouTube account, that Google took away monetization because of some fucking uh, some strike or whatever. So now this dude is putting in the hard work. He wants to monetize his work. He has every right to do so. But because maybe somebody ratted him out and lied, and I shouldn't say ratted him out because that means he did something. So somebody had to dislike this individual, and that's a very big problem, a very known problem with Twitter, social media, period, and a platform like Twitch or YouTube. If people don't like you, they can report the shit out of you, and eventually, you get that you either get your account frozen for about a week while they investigate you and shit like that, or in this case, they take away your monetization until you fix it. So, what was it, like 3 days? 3 days prior to that guy posting it, I posted the episode where I talked about how creative platforms are killing creativity. And then a few days later, he posts this situation on how Google has taken away his monetization for his channel. So here I am posting something that really is legit, right? A legit concern for creatives. And it doesn't get any fucking major attention, right? A few people, listened according to my analytics, excuse me. Nobody really gave me any feedback. I had a few retweets on Twitter and stuff like that, some thumbnails on YouTube because I also uploaded it on YouTube. And it's in my opinion, a piece of content that's going to last a long time. It's going to have staying power because this type of issue is going to be around for a very long time. So my content and my years of experience doesn't match the amount of attention it receives. I feel like my content is amazing. But that's me. I gotta have that attitude. I gotta have that narcissistic attitude. Every fucking podcaster, every content creator has to believe that they are the best. So I have a lot of experience, right? Way more than this fucking guy who all of a sudden expected to have thousands of people follow him because he has an opinion on video games. Well, so does a lot of fucking people who have way more experience than you, and they have to earn it. Me, I feel like I still have to earn it, even though I've went through my phase where I had my industry job. And it's funny on Facebook, it'll share memories with you. I believe it was the 10-year anniversary. Or no, holy shit, yeah, 10 years. 2012. where I had posted something on Facebook saying that the ECA was in Washington to make sure that the proper what they call that warning stickers were on violent video games so that little kids or parents who had younger children can see that warning labels that this game is very violent, has blood, blah blah blah. So that was the kind of job I had. We focused on the industry and protecting the industry and protecting the rights of the people who loved video games. And then I posted a screenshot of it, and then I said, yeah, I had an industry job that really mattered, that protected you guys, you ungrateful fucks, and I put a LOL. But it's true. But because I loved the job, I didn't give a shit. We didn't need adulation, excuse me. We did it because, as someone who plays video games as well, I was protecting my hobby, my favorite hobby. So I had my industry job. I did voiceover work. I went to events to cover it. I had free content, video games sent to me, free fucking hardware, consoles, blah blah blah, all that shit. I went through all that, and even with that, my content doesn't receive the same attention that somebody else who focuses on more controversial shit might receive. And I know that. And I'm okay with that. You know why? Because the people who do listen are in here listening to PGR because they like what I have to say. Not because they hate a console or they hate somebody within the gaming industry or community. No. So I understand that. And this guy needs to understand that, okay, you've been here, 6 months or whatever. You think because you're following a certain, pattern that you're going to get this instant success? No, that doesn't happen unless you're an amazing content creator and you're bringing something that is totally different and new that nobody has seen. That's the only way. Or you do it the other way, which you did, you cheat. And, perfect example. My two friends, Natalie and Nelson, they had a podcast called Achievement Junkie. And I know them very personally, very good friends of mine. So they actually work and still work in the industry, gaming industry. But one day, Nelson tells me, yo, watch what's going to happen today. We're going to post something. You let me know what you think. I was like, okay. What they did was they were one of the first to create a video podcast about video games. And they each had a camera pointing at them. They were cutting away to Natalie and to Nelson. And the audio was great because they started out as podcasters first. So they had the audio down pat. And everyone in the industry was like, holy shit, this shit came out amazing. So instantly, and as a matter of fact, they had a segment on Xbox, on the Xbox dashboard for the 360 for quite a while because of that video. And they had a very similar show, like a little segment. So that was something that was like out of the blue. People haven't seen it yet, and people were like, holy shit, this is amazing. These two are great. They're talented people. We don't have that right now because, there's so much you can do, right? To the point where everybody's kind of doing the same shit. So, people are copying other people's personalities. People are copying other people's techniques, editing techniques. If it's video, they're copying the same color tones. Photography is the same shit. So a lot of people are a lot of creators are copying each other right now because they feel like, oh, if I need to stay afloat, I need to copy. And you guys know my take on that. If you're creative, you find a creative way to stand out. If not, then uh, you know, do something else, because if your creativity can't make you stand out on your own, then something's wrong. So anyway, this is another example. That guy who used his sister to gain popularity, he's a perfect example of what I was talking about last time, where these platforms are killing creativity. And this guy felt like, hey, I'm not standing out. I don't know why. I should be. Let me find out if I use a female, if I will stand out. And he found out that he could. Nobody knew it was him, by the way. But now people are like, oh, forgive him. So you want to forgive people? Hey, it's a different time. It's a totally different time nowadays. People, you know, people are soft. This society, this new generation is soft as hell. Everybody wants things handed to him. Here's a guy who was a father and a husband. He wanted popularity and a following handed to him instead of earning it. And that's the disturbing part. He's an adult. He's supposed to be teaching his next generation the importance of fighting for something. If you want it bad enough, you fight for it. You earn it, because nobody could take it away at that point. As little as my content gets now, the fact is, what I did in the past, nobody can take away from me, because I already did it. And I was very fortunate that I was in this industry at a certain point where those opportunities were available to us. Now it's different because of social media. And PlayStation could use their YouTube channel to do a state of play and things like that. So can Xbox. So they don't need live events anymore. They don't need people to go and cover their events, because you could do it online now. You could even demo games via stream. So I remember people were playing Halo Infinite, the beta test for their multiplayer. They were given access to play online. So you don't even need to go to an event to preview this shit. So the opportunities are way less. Way fucking less than they were back then. So now people have to stand out more. And the people that were in that, and were doing things with me around the same time I was, some of them are still around, and they're holding on for dear life. They're holding on to that access for dear life because they got nothing else. So you have a bunch of people who refuse to let go, and you have a bunch of people who want that access. But, the fact is that at one point, the people who are holding on to this access, they earned it. So beat them out. Become better than them. Find a way for you to stand out in a positive way. You don't have to kiss ass. You don't have to be chummy with publishers and Xbox executives. Your talent has to stand out. And if it stands out, believe me, people will come to you and they'll say, hey, could you not curse a little less, for this particular moment? People will work around you if you are talented and you could do something that they need. That's just how it is. You don't have to change your entire personality. And you don't have to resort to being a fake. This guy is proof that a lot of people are willing to sell their souls for a little popularity, for a little bit of fame. And now what? Anything this guy says, people are just going to be like, how can we believe you, dude? You pretended to be a woman for like 3 months. You know, hey, whatever floats his boat. It's fucking crazy, but hey, I grew up in a different time. And because of that, I'm just going to keep saying what I have to say because sometimes, and I know I sound negative a lot of times, but that's how I grew up. If you didn't win, you fucking worked your ass off for the next time you competed in hopes that you did win. And if you never won, then you know what? You had to admit, okay, I did my best, but it wasn't good enough to beat this person's best. And that's life. That is life. You can give it your all, but sometimes the person you're competing against is just that much better than you. And that's okay. Some people can't accept that, and that's fucking weird. Not everybody fucking wins. You know? And losing is a learning experience. Sometimes you might lose over the dumbest reasons. I used to be in a bowling league, and I was amazing at getting my spares, but I wasn't a very good strike bowler. I had my streaks. Sometimes I would get like 5, 6 in a row. Strikes, that is. But I would always get my fucking spares. So I was a steady 170 or whatever, you know? But, and it was weird because people used to tell me, why don't you fucking adjust the same way during your first shot and pretend that it's a spare? And I was like, I'm trying, but I can't. There's just something, there's a little adjustment that I make for my second shot that for some reason I can do a lot easier than my first shot. And so I was really good at getting spares. It was the weirdest thing. I had a nice freaking free flowing arm motion. I had good balance. But during my first shot, I would just be a little bit off. And yeah, I could have worked at it. And I've tried, but after a while, I was like, look, maybe that's the type of bowler I am. So I just kept practicing my fucking spares because I knew, hey, if I get all of my spares, I'm still going to have a good average. And I'm playing in a league, I'm part of a team, so they're going to need me to get my spares, and hopefully the fucking, you know, the big guns can carry me and we can win. And that's how we did it. That's a team. That's a team sport. But now we have a lot of individuals who don't want to be team players. They want to be the head honcho. But then when the fucking responsibilities of being the top dog come on them, they don't know how to handle it. And they don't want to face it. So they're like, no, I don't want that. I don't want the heat. I don't want to earn this leadership that I said I should receive. I just want to be called the head dog, the big cheese or whatever. But I don't want the responsibility that comes with it. And that's basically what I see a lot of right now. People don't want to be responsible. And here you have a man with a kid being very irresponsible and showing his daughter a poor lesson, a poor life lesson. And to me, I can't respect that. Even though, is it a mistake? I mean, if it lasted that long, can you say, oh, it was a mistake? In my book, no. After a while, there's intent, right? After a while, you had to come up with a strategy to say, okay, I'm going to keep this up until either I get caught or I get a certain amount of numbers. Or maybe I infuse myself as her brother and people start to like me too. Who the hell knows what the fuck this guy had, in store? But if he could do it for something so stupid as for popularity in video games, imagine what he would do for something more serious, right? These are character traits, and it's poor character traits. So I don't overlook that shit. Those are red flags to me. If I knew that dude in real life, I'd be like, ugh, dude. I'd talk to him, find out what the fuck's going on. And if I get bad vibes, I'll be like, yo, all right, man. It was nice knowing you, buddy. I'll text you when I'm, when I want to play some video games, I'll text you. But I'm not hanging out with you no more. But once again, I'm a different breed. I'm a different breed. I'm only 49, but I feel like a very old man in a fucking in a weird twilight zone. But anyway, that's just I wanted to share that story with you guys. I found it amusing, and of course, I try to implement some type of message with every episode, and so that's why I brought up the parenting and the fucking responsibility and character traits, because it's very important, especially for you people who are expecting children or have very young children. They notice everything. If you act like a bitch playing video games, guess what's going to happen? They're going to act the same way. Or when they get older, they're going to say, man, my fucking parents used to act stupid. I hate them. The kids fucking notice everything. So think of them before you do something stupid. My son knows I troll people on the internet. Sometimes I show them to him and he cracks up. And guess what? He trolls his friends. He doesn't get it. He's not into console wars and stuff like that, but he will troll his friends. And it's way more lighthearted than me. But he knows, the art of trolling, He does it in a very innocent way for now, anyway. That could all change with another bad Halo, but, But I've tried to be a very responsible father, and I wanted to be the person my son looks at and says, that's how I'm supposed to act. Not a fucking TV star, not a fucking cartoon character. It's me, my wife, and myself. We are the examples that our children are supposed